Hello, everybody. I'm Clint,
I'm Theo.
and welcome to another Intelligence Mod video. Today, it's been about a week, and we've been ruminating and thinking about Warhammer Fest that was last week, and we're going to just kind of do an overview on our thoughts and our feelings about what we saw and our favorite things from each category of announcements and how it made us feel on the inside. But first thing, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ring the bell, and then up above we have a coffee account if you want to give us money, but you don't have to. It's just there. Uh, so if you don't know, Warhammer Fest is basically a large amount of panels that happen at a convention every year. It couldn't happen that this year for COVID reasons, so they did it all online. And for 6 days, they did a different panel every day. You can see it all on Warhammer Community Online, but we're just going to break it down through the four things that they talked about, which is Age of Sigmar, 40k, Black Library, and their box games. And we're just going to go over what our favorite things or the things we're most excited about are, and I'll put up pictures in post. We're going to start with Age of Sigmar, which is what got me back into the warm bosom that is GW games. I'll let Ted talk first. I've talked a lot.
Yep. So they announced a lot of things. One thing that was pretty much like immediately like, hey, we're done. Hey, it's up for pre-order. And that was Soulblight Gravelords.
Yeah, that was that Sunday they put those out.
Yeah, now the thing I was most excited about was Broken Realms Kragnos Blast Book, book 5.
Four.
4, thank you. I'm like counting, I'm like looking over my shelf and I'm like, I only have Teclis on my shelf because the other two are in the living room because I use them. Book 4 of the Broken Realms, last book for the Broken Realms series. It kind of goes into like what's happening with everything. So each book deals with like a major event that's setting up what the next story event is going to be. So this one is, hey, the destruction god is pretty much, demigod is pretty much woken up. Like he has a shield named Kragnos. He has a shield that chipped Gorka Morka's tooth, which is pretty tough to do because Gorka Morka's pretty damn tough. And he's woken up. All destruction's like, yay, and Gur is kind of having its love fest for like the first time ever in the series. I'm excited about that. But that was that big reveal. They've been revealing some of the models coming out for it throughout like the last like couple months. So the big one was, here's what the Kragnos model looks like, and it looks pretty.
Is really cool
Angry.
model.
Yeah. Looks angry, looks cool. My big speculation is he is the one that created the Ogroid race that's in the chaos camp because they got kicked out of destruction. So I'll find out. But that was my big happy thing for Age of Sigmar. Clint, what was yours?
Saturday, their secret day, and this dovetails very well into the Broken Realms Kragnos, is they announced a 3.0. So Age of Sigmar 3rd edition. That's what I'm most excited about because new edition might mean new codexes, new models, some updated rules. So there's a lot to talk about. There's a lot of, but that's a later video. But I'm glad for the Broken Realms book, but it was like no surprise really. I knew it was coming. Oh, yeah. There's a lot of stuff in there, but I'm a Skaven player and there's really nothing in there for me. So a part of me is bitter and I don't care. But I'm still going to bait the book and it's still useful. But
I was excited for the fact that they gave us a map of Gur first time. They've had so many things happen in that realm. Gur is the realm of beast for everyone playing at home. And I've just been like, finally, I have a map of the realm I love so much. It's not in Broken Realms. No, it's coming in the new core rulebook because Gur is the main setting for the next story event. So there we go. So all the excitement there.
Moving on from Age of Sigmar, is we're gonna do 40k, and I can talk about this first. We can just take turns, I guess. They announced a bunch of stuff. This one, most of the models that was announced is for Sisters of Battle. They look really cool. There are a lot of awesome models. But I guess out of everything that I'm most excited for, because again, it's nothing for my army, because They didn't talk about Adeptus Mechanicus, and someone asked in stream, and they went, "No, we're not going to talk about the Adeptus Mechanicus because they're coming out soon, and so we're just going to not talk about them." So it's like, oh, okay. But the thing I'm excited about is the Cateron Battlefield in a Box. Its terrain, it's some really cool terrain. It would square me out for having enough terrain for all the way up to the largest scale map down to a small ones because I have a little amount of terrain that I just recently built, but it's what I'm excited about. If I had to look at everything, it's not saying that, you know, nothing in there is everything else is terrible. It's just, oh, it's just stuff I don't play. So yeah, that's the thing I'm most excited about for that.
Right, lads, here we go. So you can tell from my little terrible Cockney accent thing, Cockney accent, that's the accent I'm trying to say right now.
Yeah, it's a Cockney accent.
Yeah. So they announced the new Orc Codex and a new breed of orc called the Beast Snaga. So picture an orc with mechanical legs or a mechanical arm or something mechanical because, you know, riding a four-legged giant ass squig with a spear, and their goal is to bring down an Imperial Titan with that thing.
Or the biggest monsters on the field. That's what they do.
It's adorable.
They ride squig hogs. They are really cool. They're honestly, the models are really cool. I think they're neat as hell. Like, this might get me to my first Xenos army, just because all the Beast Snaga stuff is coming in one box as like a starter thing, and the special codex in there is the Beast Snaga cover. So I was like, yeah, I'll do it. I'll probably do it because orcs, and I need a fun army that's not gonna have me like think too much, and an army of squigs wrestlers just sounds amazing. No, it's it looks really cool. I was glad. I'm always glad when they just announce new stuff for like different armies. You know, you're always the part of you. It's like, it's not for my army, so meh. But as a whole, as long as they keep updating armies, that's to me not the Space Marines. That they do pay attention to the other armies, like the orcs, or like eventually, hopefully, they'll do something with the Eldar. What they did with the. Except what they did with the blank on their names, the robots, the Terminator looking MFers.
Necrons?
Thank you. They redid their line top to bottom. They look really cool. So that's
everyone's hope for it's everyone's big hope for like Eldar and Craft World is they're gonna get the top to down approach. Yeah, this thing, like with the orc stuff, is we have my favorite model of it is Zogrod
Wartsnaga,
who is a runt herd from first edition, and he's been brought back for this current edition. And he's wearing, and the best detail is he's got crazy hair. It's a squig that he has stapled to his head.
Hair squig, as they said on the stream.
Hair squig. That's what squigs used to be. It was like a bunch of different things. And they're bringing some of that back now.
Yeah, they seem to be bringing back more of the different kinds of squigs, not just like the standard squig that most people see. But that's 40k.
Yeah, that was a heavy time for 40k. I was just like, that's pretty.
So this was another one of the big things was Black Library Day. They announced a ton of stuff for Black Library Day. You can go first on this one, Ted. But there was a ton of stuff announced.
Yeah, there's a bunch of stuff got announced. Clint's gonna cover literally half of it with one thing, because that's what they talked about. I'll cover it. They covered like, hey, we got 2 new anthologies for Warhammer Crime, their little crime series thing, pretty cool. The thing that had me most excited was there's another Necron novel coming out called The Twice Dead King Ruin, and they already have had one Necron novel come out. That was the sassiest novel I've ever read, and it's Necrons, and it made me really happy. So I'm excited for that. And then the other book I was excited that they announced was Siege of Terra Book 6, Warhawk, which is the Khan versus Mortarion. So I love that this year we're going to have Mortarion fighting 2 of his brothers, because they talked about a different book today in news, and I'm excited about that. But I just love this is the big if you've read any of the most recent 40k novels with anything, there's been a lot of descriptions of the Khan statue fighting a big nebulous demon thing with a scythe, which is Mortarion. So now we're actually going to finally get that fight at the port, and the cover looks pretty cool. I'm excited for that. I love the Siege of Terra, so it's kind of cool. I'm also doing which shameless plug moment. I'm doing a series on the Horus Heresy. The Siege of Terra is the last video thing I'm working on because the series is still coming out, but this makes it one step closer to being able to be done. Video 1 is up right now. Might be a redone video 1 later, but that was my first one. So, okay, Colette, your turn to talk about literally the other half of the announcement because it all ties together.
No, it was 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, 5, 6, 7. Okay, 7 of the 14 things announced are specifically based on this, but
so half.
So half. Oh, technically 8 if you include book 1 of Steel Tread because it's an Astra Militarum book. So
no. I am sure I'm just counting anything to do with the group that's being
okay, then literally half. So they announced the models for the Gaunt's Ghosts as a plastic kit, which got me super excited because I just remember when they originally launched those models back when I was in like maybe junior high, maybe 9th grade. And they were Forge World models. They were like, they're really expensive models. With this is going to be a kit for the Astra Militarum. I do not play Guard. I will probably buy this kit just to buy it, to just have them.
Let Jonathan use them.
Yeah, Jonathan actually might even buy them too because I told him they're just scouts, so they'd be useful. All the other stuff is there's a lot of stuff that's been announced that's for the Sabbath Wars or new books in the Gaunt's Ghost. Dan Abnett is the rest of the 6 other things. They're cool special edition things that I probably will not get because I haven't read the entirety of the Gaunt's Ghosts books, so I could get the Vinicula Insurgency because it's set basically after book 1, so I could get that. But the other thing I thought that was really cool was the Ibran Gaunt bookmark. It's a silly thing to be excited about, but I'm not as in deep into all of the books as Ted is, so I'm getting there. I'm reading books, but there's 56 Horus Heresy books and like 300 other books, so most of these are pretty far in there. It's cool that they're still doing them and stuff, so hopefully I'll catch up eventually, but those are kind of 2 to 3 things I was very excited about and I will be getting at some point, especially the bookmark, because the bookmark looks really cool. And
it does. Those look pretty cool. Yeah, the other book parts they announced from that are part of the Gaunt's Ghost thing was Volpone Gloria, Blue Blood's novel. So we get one of the groups that Gaunt's gone up against a couple times in the Guard, one of their regiment. And then Urdesh, the Serpent and the Saint, which is a Space Marine novel, which is kind of cool. The Iron Snakes dealing with the planet of Urdesh and the forces of chaos. So I was like, that's cool, because I read the original Iron Snakes novel when it came out. You take a Space Marine arrogance to a whole new level of, oh, there's a Dark Eldar incursion on this planet. We're going to send one neophyte to go deal with it. This is his test. That's the Iron Snakes. That's how the book opens up. And then box games.
I think we were both excited for the same thing for box games. I have a second thing I'm excited for, but the main thing I'm excited for,
I was gonna let you do the main thing, and then I was gonna do my secondary because we're both gonna wax about the main thing. That's definitely given.
The main thing that we're both excited about is the new starter box for Aeronautica Imperialis. It's gonna be what finally pulls the 2 of us into buying the game, because before it was kind of one of those like, oh, both these factions don't really grab me. At least this was my opinion, that both factions didn't really grab me enough to want to like buy them, because I always hate having models I always hate having models that I'm never going to use. That's what keeps me from buying most of the box sets, because usually 90% of the time it's one of the armies I couldn't give a damn about, or that I outright do not like the faction, and so I just don't want to deal with having to trade it to someone or having to split buy. But this one, it's the Eldari Craft Worlds and the Space Marines, and they're all really cool looking models, dogfighting and all that jazz. So it's the 3rd box set for Aeronautica Imperialis, and I'm in.
Which, like I said, had me surprised, because the original run through they gave out had Necrons and Chaos, not Craft World and Space Marines coming out next, though. I'm kind of excited because that means we're going to see a space like what they did with the Imperial Navy. We're probably going to see a Space Marines versus X and Space Marines versus X, or Eldar versus X. So it'd be kind of cool. I'm more waiting for the Chaos section to come out, but I'm super excited. I'm getting this box too
Yeah.
because I can play both. And if not, I'll give Jared the Eldar, so he's got his little flying things. And the best part about this announcement was they trolled everybody
No, yeah.
with so Forge World makes a Thunderhawk. The Thunderhawk is the size of my desk, pretty much. It's a big model, 117 resin components. Most of them are big pieces. It's big, it's huge, it's clunky, it's almost $800. Pretty much is $800. And people have been wanting it in plastic from GW for years. So what they do, they shuttle plastic Thunderhawk, which is one of the Aeronautica Imperialis models, is the new Thunderhawk. And I applauded them.
It is it is $735. It is in 112 components.
Oh, okay, I'm off by 5 components. But the thing's huge. I sent Clint a picture of what it looks like next to a Stormhawk gunship. It's kind of like, here's how big the damn thing is. So yeah, they announced the Thunderhawk. That made me excited. I was like, okay, that's pretty damn cool. And then my thing I was excited about was the announcement of the last of the house books for Necromunda. I knew it was coming based on what the new starter box is, which is House Delok versus House Esser. Escher already has theirs in House of Blaze. House Delok is the House of Shadow. And they have like ninja looking people. They have weird psychic people that control strange creatures, like a psychoteric worm, which is a little mechanical worm thing. And then they also have a servitor that's the brain attached to a squid thing with multiple clawed hands. I'm like, these things look pretty cool. I might start a spy house for Necromunda because I have a bunch of Necromunda gangs I've not built yet or even played a single game of yet. But you know, it's a fun game. I've watched it play. I do like it. I just haven't. It's a tough game to try and do like one-on-one, like, hey, let's just play a quick game. It's no, we're gonna play a campaign, get our buddies and have some fun and tell a story. And so it's really great. I was super excited about that, which means that we're getting to the once I do more about this, that means I'll probably put out the things talking about the other like standard random games that have like coming out. So they'll probably have like something on Chaos Gang, something for the Genestealer cults gang, because you could play Genestealer cult in Necromunda, and that's kind of, maybe everyone's like, hey, look, new Genestealer cult models with these guys because they look just perfect for it. And then the other thing they announced, which took the internet by storm, and now there's a battle between something from the Beast Nagas is they announced Dire Chasm.
Oh, yeah.
The last warband for season 5 of Dire Chasm, which most people have not been playing because that requires people.
Yeah, you need someone else to play with.
It's the Idol of the Deepkin. Pretty cool, but they have a crab model. There are people only care about the crab.
Yeah.
So right now there are meme battles between the crab and then from the orcs for 40k, they show a squig with its legs removed and replaced with a giant wheel, and a goblin and a grot riding on the back with a rocket holding a rusty nail like this. So there's like pictures of those two duking it out. And I'm like, yeah, that's how it should be. But we have a random crab, and it's gonna be it's an interesting warband. I can't wait to hear more about
that was the other thing minorly that I was also like, ooh, cool, that's like another warband I'll end up picking up because they look neat. And I purely buy the Underworld warbands purely based on do I think they look cool. If they look stupid, I do not buy them.
I own every single season 5 warband because I wanted to get all the cards because of the new format for Vanguard. That was about it. But that's okay because that means that we can do tournaments together and I can just go, here's the universals that we could use. Punk. Here we go. Let's build decks. Here's the warbands we can use because we're stuck with season 5 warbands too, which I don't like that new setup, but that's a totally different thing. But yeah, that was Warhammer Fest in a nutshell. Kind of like our favorite things they announced.
Yeah, what we were most excited about. Expect other videos breaking down what we think purely hypotheticals on Age of Sigmar. And
oh yeah, we're definitely talking about that. We've been doing that a lot already. Like we spent, I think, we're gonna film this yesterday, and then we decided to, and then we're talking about 3rd edition the entire time.
Yeah. So expect a video on what we think might be in 3rd edition or what we hope will be in 3rd edition. But until then, thanks for watching. Do all that stuff that I mentioned in the beginning, and we'll see you in the next week or two.
Yep, catch you guys all later.